Picture this. You are standing inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana, the absolute epicenter of the women's basketball universe. The building is practically humming with energy. The lights are blinding. The atmosphere is an intoxicating mix of pure excitement and absolute disbelief. We are in the middle of the 2026 WNBA preseason, but what is happening on this hardwood floor tonight does not look like a meaningless exhibition game. What is happening tonight looks like a synchronized, ruthless, and terrifyingly efficient execution. The Indiana Fever are playing an international exhibition game against the Nigerian national team. And ladies and gentlemen, this is not a basketball game. This is a statement. This is a warning shot fired directly across the bow of every single franchise in the WNBA. Welcome back to WNBA She Serves. You already know why you are here. If you are tired of the mainstream media giving you watered-down, corporate-approved talking points, you have found your sanctuary. We do not do sugarcoating. We do not do polite analysis. We do the unfiltered, high-octane, unvarnished truth about the greatest basketball league on the face of the earth. Grab a seat, lock in, and turn your volume all the way up, because today we are breaking down a performance so dominant, so overwhelming, that it is going to completely alter the conversation surrounding the Indiana Fever heading into the regular season. We are pulling back the curtain on a legendary blowout. Let us set the scene and look at the scoreboard, because the numbers here are genuinely difficult to comprehend. As the buzzer sounds to end the first half, and the teams head into the locker rooms, the score is not close. It is not a hard-fought, grinding defensive battle. The score at halftime, going into the third quarter, is 70-29. Let me repeat that so it fully registers in your mind. 70-29. The Indiana Fever put up 70 points in 20 minutes of professional basketball. They are leading by 41 points before the fans have even finished their halftime hot dogs. That is not just good offense. That is a historic, video game-level offensive avalanche. That is the kind of scoring production that keeps opposing coaches staring at the ceiling at 3 in the morning. When you put up 70 points and a half against an international team, a team full of proud, physical, highly competitive athletes representing their entire nation, you are sending a message. The Fever are looking at the rest of the league. They are looking at the defending champions. They are looking at the super teams in New York and Las Vegas. And they are screaming at the top of their lungs, "We have arrived, and we are coming for everything." Now we have to talk about the third quarter, because the third quarter of a 41-point blowout is where you actually see what a basketball team is truly made of. It is easy to play hard when the game is tied. It is easy to dive for loose balls when the season is on the line. But what do you do when you're up by 40 points? Do you get lazy? Do you get sloppy? Do you start padding your stats and taking bad shots? Not this Indiana Fever team, not tonight. As the third quarter begins, we are watching a masterclass in professional discipline. Head coach Stephanie White is not letting her foot off the gas pedal, but she is completely shifting the tactical focus. The first half was a track meet. It was a run-and-gun fast-break clinic that left the Nigerian defenders gasping for air. But the third quarter is about half-court execution. It is about the subtle, brilliant, microscopic details of the game. Look at the film from this third quarter. The Fever are deliberately slowing the pace down. They are working on their half-court sets. They are running pick-and-rolls, dribble handoffs, and complex backscreens with the precision of a Swiss watch. They are using this massive lead not as an excuse to relax, but as a priceless real-time practice session against physical defenders. And let's give an immense amount of credit where credit is absolutely due. The Nigerian national team did not quit. A lot of teams would have folded their tents, packed their bags, and begged for the final buzzer after giving up 70 points and a half. But Nigeria came out of that locker room with absolute pride. They tightened up their defensive rotations. They started fighting through screens with a level of physicality that you rarely see in a preseason game. In fact, if you look closely at the third quarter box score, it was incredibly competitive. The Fever only outscored Nigeria 15-12 in that 10-minute stretch. That right there, That 15-12 quarter? That is exactly what the Indiana Fever front office wanted to see. They do not need another fast break highlight reel. They need to see how their secondary rotations, their bench players, and their young prospects handle physical, grinding, in-your-face defensive pressure. When the game slows down to a crawl, when the easy transition buckets disappear, can you still execute? Can you still get a good shot at the end of the shot clock? The third quarter answered those questions with a resounding yes. By the time the horn sounds to end the third quarter, the scoreboard reads 85-41. An 85-point explosion in 30 minutes. But beyond the sheer volume of points, we have to talk about the deeper implications of this game. Because this is not just about beating Nigeria. This is about the Indiana Fever answering the massive, suffocating pressure that has been placed on their shoulders all off-season long. Think about the narratives that have been circling this franchise. Think about the noise, the constant, deafening roar of the media machine. Everyone has an opinion on the Indiana Fever. Are they too young? Is the defense good enough? Do they have enough front-court depth? Can they handle the unprecedented spotlight, the sold-out arenas, the national television cameras tracking their every single move? Tonight was a therapeutic release of all that tension. Tonight was the Fever stepping onto their home floor and saying, "We hear the noise, but we are here to play basketball." You do not accidentally score 85 points in 3 quarters. You do that when your chemistry is clicking. You do that when the locker room is united. You do that when every single player on the roster, from the franchise superstar to the last player on the bench, completely buys into the system. And we absolutely have to talk about the international angle here, because it is massively important for the growth of the women's game. Hosting the Nigerian national team in Indianapolis is a brilliant move. It is a beautiful collision of worlds. The WNBA is expanding its footprint globally at a terrifying speed, and games like this are the catalyst. The Nigerian team brings a totally different style of basketball. They bring FIBA physicality. They bring relentless rebounding, aggressive closeouts, and a level of national pride that you simply cannot replicate in a standard inter-squad scrimmage. For the young players on the Indiana Fever roster, facing that kind of international physicality is the ultimate baptism by fire. It forces you to play stronger. It forces you to protect the basketball. If you can handle the aggressive trapping defense of a national team fighting for their pride, you can handle a Tuesday night game against the Chicago Sky. This exhibition was a strategic masterstroke by the Fever's front office. They wanted their team to be battle-tested before opening night, and Nigeria gave them exactly the kind of physical resistance they needed in that third quarter. Well, let's get back to the Fever, because the fans in Indianapolis are practically floating out of the arena right now, and they have every right to be ecstatic. When you watch the ball movement in this game, it is beautiful. It is poetry in motion. The extra pass, the drive and kick, the absolute willingness to pass up a good shot for a great shot. That is the hallmark of a championship contending culture. Selfish teams do not score 70 points in a half. Selfish teams do not have the kind of assist-to-turnover ratio that Indiana put up tonight. This game proves that the offensive ceiling for the Indiana Fever is completely non-existent. There is no limit. When they are hitting their threes, when they are pushing the pace in transition, and when they are executing their half-court sets with this level of ruthless efficiency, they are completely unguardable. You can try to play zone. They will shoot you out of the gym. You can try to play man-to-man. They will blow right past you. You can try to trap the pick and roll. They will find the open cutter every single time. It is a tactical nightmare for the rest of the league. Now I know the critics and the skeptics are already rushing to their keyboards. I can already hear the mainstream media pundits clearing their throats to deliver their favorite excuse. It's just preseason. It doesn't count. Nigeria isn't a WNBA team. You can't overreact to a blowout exhibition. To all the critics trying to downplay this performance, I have one simple message for you. You are completely missing the point. Yes, it is the preseason. Yes, the games do not officially count in the standings yet. But excellence is a habit. Dominance is a muscle that you have to train. You do not just flip a magical switch on opening night and suddenly become an offensive juggernaut. You build that identity right here, right now, on a random night in May against an international opponent. You build it by refusing to play down to the competition. You build it by treating a 41-point lead with the exact same focus and intensity as a tie game in the fourth quarter. The Indiana Fever are not just practicing plays, they are building a psychological fortress. They are developing a killer instinct. The great teams, the legendary dynasties in sports history, they all have one thing in common. They do not show mercy. When they have you on the ropes, they do not let you breathe. They step on your throat, and they finish the job. Scoring 85 points in 3 quarters is the definition of a killer instinct. So, what is the ultimate takeaway from this absolute demolition? What do the fans, the analysts, and the rest of the WNBA need to understand about the Indiana Fever right now? The takeaway is that the hype is real, but the execution is even scarier. The Fever are not just a collection of talented individuals anymore. They are morphing into a terrifying, unified offensive machine. They have the shooters, they have the playmakers, they have the speed. And tonight, they prove that they have the discipline to execute for a full 30 minutes without losing their focus. The regular season is right around the corner. The bright lights of national television are waiting. The pressure cooker is about to be turned all the way up to the maximum setting. And if tonight's 85-41 third-quarter scoreboard is any indication of what is to come, the rest of the WNBA needs to hit the panic button immediately. Because the Fever are not just coming to compete, they are coming to dominate. They are coming to take over. The clock is ticking, the regular season is arriving, and the entire basketball world is officially on notice. We are going to be right here, breaking down every single angle, every single play, and every single storyline as this historic season unfolds. If you appreciate this level of deep, unapologetic, high-energy basketball analysis, you know exactly what to do. Hit that like button right now to feed the algorithm and let YouTube know that women's sports are taking over. Smash that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to officially join the WNBA She Serves family. We are the fastest-growing community of real basketball fans on the internet, and we want you on board. And most importantly, I want to hear from you. Drop your hottest, most unfiltered takes in the comment section below. Are the Indiana Fever the most dangerous offensive team in the history of the league? Is this preseason blowout a preview of a championship run, or just an exhibition illusion? Who impressed you the most in this game? Let me read every single opinion down below. The season is here, the stakes have never been higher, and we are just getting started. Keep your eyes locked on the court, because the drama in the WNBA is about to reach an entirely new stratosphere.